Hello and welcome to this video tutorial for Recipient Labs about receiving and processing time requests for NMR spectrometers in Sesame. Sesame's time request view is used to manage requests for time on spectrometer equipment. This tutorial is for the labs receiving time requests and includes details about viewing and administering time requests for lab members and for lab masters. A different tutorial is also available for users who are creating and submitting time requests for spectrometer use. In this tutorial, we will be working in the sundial module. Any lab member of the recipient lab may search and view all requests that have been submitted to your lab. Select Search in the menu bar and under Time Request, choose By Lab. A search window pops up. When I leave an asterisk in every field, all time requests for the current lab are returned in the main window of Sundial. A second way to search for time requests is to use the button bar. Select Time Request from the drop-down and choose from the buttons to the right. I'll click on Search by Lab again to search all records at the recipient lab. Let's modify our criteria in the pop-up. I'll search for requests with submitted status. All of my time requests with the submitted status are now returned. A third method to search for an existing record is to right-click on the View node of an existing search. A list appears of search options available. Let's search by lab, and for this example, I'll call up Time Requests by Spectrometer, and I'll select Dexter. Let's open this record. Lab masters may edit any of the fields in a time request. Only lab masters or other lab members who have been given permissions may edit fields. See our tutorials and help pages for more information about giving time request permissions through the Can Do lab resource. The first fields contain record information. The Created By field contains the username of the person who created this time request. If more information is needed about the person, click on the blue I button to the right. Any information here may also be copied and pasted. The lab master may change any time request into any status. This request is in submitted status, and I will now change it to accepted. Now let's save this. Under Time Request, select Save Time Request. Setting the status of a time request as accepted as soon as it is accepted is typically important. This will lock the time request for the user, and the user cannot change it or delete it. At this point, the only field the user may update is the publication field. In case a user needs to do some additional editing, the lab master may always change the status to New again and make the time request open for editing. When the lab master is logged in, this drop-down list shows all the permits that have been issued to the current user and all of the permits that have been issued by the current lab. You may choose any permit. The lab master may create and submit a request for any user that is on the permit lists. The lab master may also use any existing time request as a template to build a new time request. You can see that the permits listed here are the same as those I have in my permit resource. Creating permits is covered in a different tutorial. Click the blue I button to the right to quickly access basic info about the PI and/or the user. The project type distinction is a drop-down list of project types. The cost per hour might depend on it. Classifications include core projects, collaborative, proprietary, maintenance, service, and submitted sample. Billing period is the time period, usually 1 month, within which the time request is placed. You may define this drop-down list in Lab Resources in Sundial. These options become populated when a permit is chosen. Let's switch over to billing periods in Lab Resources. Here is where we are defining our billing periods. Increments for the requested time, minimum time, given time, and used time fields here are defined in your lab profile. I'll switch to that. and you can see it here. Cost per hour is set when a spectrometer and a project type is selected. The value may be set in the spectrometer's lab resource. Here's the spectrometer record for Dexter, and you can see the cost per hour is set here. Spectrometers and the connected probes and spectrometer info are also defined in the spectrometer resource. I'll change back into that window and you can see those fields here. Lab members who operate spectrometers are listed here, and this may be defined in the Can-Do resource. Let's view Anastasia's Can-Do operator record. I'll also show the full report of the Can-Dos assigned in my lab. You see other members are also defined here as operator. Consoles Experience is a drop-down list of consoles on spectrometers in your lab. The console list is defined in Lab Resources under Consoles. The Assistance field may be defined in Lab Resources under Assistance. I'll show that here. And the Assisted By field lists staff who train users. Use the Can-Do resource to set assisters. When I switch to the window, you can see that Raul has a Can-Do designation of assister. And switching to the full report of Can-Dos, we see the other assisters listed here. Some additional time request settings are found in your lab profile. To begin, be sure to check Accept Time Requests to accept time requests in your lab. Some labs require documentation for spectrometer use. When the project data required field is checked, the following fields become required and are verified or necessary in order to submit a time request. These fields are project title, abstract, keywords, NIH access codes 1 and 2, and investigators. Lab masters may run any available reports about time requests, and other lab members may run more limited reports. To run reports, go to the main page in Sundial and to Report on the menu bar. Under Time Requests, let's start with lab usages. This report may be run by billing period and also in larger time ranges, showing a full year of data, for example. I'll call up lab usages from October 2017 to October 2018, and I'll group by PI. The report now shows for all PIs how many hours were requested, given, and used by members of the PIs group, and the costs in total for this year. If we want, we may drill down and have this report show the compound usage in the same time period per user. I'll go back to the report and leave my PI as the first grouping, and now I'll add user for the next grouping. You may sort the columns using the arrows on the column header. I'll sort by PI. Now this report shows for every group member how much time they requested, used, and what did it cost. It is possible to drill down further. I'll add machine to this report to show usage per spectrometer. Now the report shows the lab usage by PI's group members per spectrometer machines. We may also report addresses from last year. I'll select PI billing addresses here. Now, let's look at some helpful detailed reports for the latest billing period. We may select experiments. This report gives experiments details for accepted time requests, including spectrometer and probe needed, the operator, the user, the pulse programs, and the time request number in case more details are needed. When we run the sample info report for the current billing period, the report includes basic details about user, spectrometer and probes, and any data about the sample, such as if it is a biohazard, if it has been run before, etc. To view requests for training and assistance, use the same tool here for this current billing cycle. Now I can see any training requests with full details, including details about the assistance or training requested and the lab assisters who have been chosen. I may quickly pull up a report of user data for anyone who has an accepted request during the current billing cycle by selecting User Data. The report includes basic contact data, the name of the PI in charge, and the extranet access IP address. Thank you for taking the time to watch this video, and please refer to the general tutorial about time requests for more information about this view, and to our help pages on the Sesame website for any further questions.